Shalom, shalom wa ahaba, mishpaka, shalom wa ahaba. Peace and love, family, peace and love. I want to say shalom to the whole house of Israel, all 12 tribes scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, to wherever we've been driven to the lands of our captivity. I would also like to say shalom to the sojourners, the Gentiles, and the foreigners, and all those who give thanks, honor, and praises to the Elohim, or God of the Bible, and his only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, to whom many of you refer to as Christ. Hallelujah. Mishpachah, we are definitely living in some prophetic and interesting times, you know what I'm saying? With the current war, spewing out over there in Iran or the so-called Middle East, with everything that's being revealed before the eyes of the people, in regards to those people who live in the modern state of Israel, and that, those people occupying that land over there in the so-called Middle East. Much of so-called white Christian America are coming to terms with many things that they have been taught by their forefathers that they are realizing were lies. And much of what is called Western civilization has been built upon lies. Which reminds me of Jeremiah or Yirmiyahu chapter 16 verse 19 when it says that the Gentiles will come before the people of Israel and admit to themselves that everything that they have been taught have been lies. And we are in times like that, Mishpachah. And in this video, I just wanted to, pretty much for those people who are out there who are in situations where they have people and loved ones and a community and people that they care about that they wish could see the things that are being revealed to them. You know what I'm saying? The things that the Most High has revealed to you and opened your eyes to. And you want to share that with those around you, but they're looking at the same thing but not seeing what you're seeing. And I think it's time for us to find peace in the fact that just because we show them does not mean they will see it. You understand that, Mishpachah? Just because we show them does not mean that they will see it. Blessed are you, Yahuwah Elohim, ruler of the cosmos, creator of the fruit of the vine, who makes the fruit of the vine. Hallelujah. Yeah, Mishpachah, nowadays we need to take an edge off and just relax, man. And enjoy the peace of the moment, because it could be the calm before the storm, Mishpachah. And just because we show it to them don't mean that they will see it. I feel like there's something spiritual going on out here and the reasons why people can't see what you may see. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to so-called black people, you know what I mean? When you deal with TDS or Trump derangement syndrome, you know what I mean? People, you'll be talking about something that has nothing to do with politics, and then all of a sudden black people will bring up Trump. And I'm like, what did they do to these people? You see what I'm saying? And all I can do is, before I come, and come at it a wrong kind of way, I just thank the Most High that whatever was done to them didn't happen to me. You understand? Because I understand that President 47 Trump is a politician. And I understand that everything that he said he was going to do, he ain't going to do. But that's all of them. And you's a damn fool if you think things would have been better off with Kamala. And you also are a damn fool if you think that this war over here in the so-called Middle East would not have happened under Kamala. No, because these people do not run the government, Mishpachah. And that's another thing that is being revealed to the American public, that the people that they vote and they send to elected office are not who's in charge. Because the American people, for the most part, do not want to send their sons and daughters to a war with a country that has not directly did something to us, Mishpachah. American people are worried about gas prices, grocery prices, taking care of their children, being able to afford their house, pay their bills, you know what I'm saying, and live a good life for what is the so-called American dream. They do not want to send their young people to go over there and die in the mountains of Iran behind some stuff that Bibi Netanyahu or Bibi Milakowski, you know what I mean, because his birth name was like Milakowski or something. You see what I'm saying? Every so-called person of the modern state of Israel who was elected to the prime minister changed their name to sound more Hebraic. I'm not lying to you, Mishpachah. And 60% of those people over there that the American white Christian church is trying to tell you that you are obligated to support off of a couple verses that were in the book of Genesis. The bulk of those people don't even believe in God. 60% of those people living over there are atheists. This is the age of the awakening. And just because you show people that don't mean that they're going to see what you see. You could show black people in America that the Democrats have been manipulating them and hustling them and taking advantage of them and gaining control and power off of their struggle. You could give them example after example after example of what the so-called Democratic Party has done to the so-called black community, and many of them will not see it. They will go out here in November. They will go out here in November and vote Democrat, Mr. Picard. That's just the way that it is. Just because you show it to them does not mean that they're gonna see it. You could show white Christian America that the person and the man that we know to be Yahushua, you know what I mean, Yahshua Hamashiach, who they call Jesus Christ, by today's understanding of the socio racial makeup or context that has been developed by the rulers of the current world, that he would be considered a black man, a Negro. You understand that? If you could show that to them 1,000 times, many of them will not see it. You see what I'm saying, Mr. Picard? Because it's so much vested on the narrative and in the doctrine, and there's so much money involved with maintaining that narrative. And we are in a time where we need to start focusing on the world after the world we inherited. You see what I'm saying? Because I do think that with the way things are going, these people are trying to work towards a plan where there ain't nothing but rich people and robots. And the other people who are outside of that group will be servants of the digital dungeon. You see what I'm saying? Which they are slowly tricking people and manipulating people to walk into the surveillance state, the digital dungeon. You know what I'm saying? We dropped the ball when we start letting them put cameras on the interstate. We dropped the ball when we start letting them put cameras on the stoplights. We dropped the ball when we start letting them put cameras all over our houses and all over our neighborhoods, and we never questioned who was collecting that data. We dropped the ball, Mr. Picard. And now these people are working and implementing and bringing in the beast system, and the beast system is going to operate off of technology. And the way that they will imitate God, because that is what Hasatan, Halel, who many of you refer to as Lucifer, that is his objective, is to imitate God. And in order to imitate God, he got to see all, know all, be all. And the only way he can do that is through technology, Mr. Picard. And you can explain this 100 times, and many people will not see it because there's something spiritual blocking their eyes. You see what I'm saying? Just like those people over there in the Middle East that are probably behind stirring up everything you're seeing right now. They're blinded by something. You see what I'm saying? They can't see or even recognize much of the wickedness that they are doing because it comes natural to them, Mr. Picard. Family, so I tell you, do not stress yourself out at this time, because the only thing that may be real in the time that we're living in is what's sitting right in front of you. That wife that you see, you know what I mean, that you're sleeping next to. Those children that you talk to and that hug you and tell you that they love your daddy or they love your mama. You know what I'm saying? Those conversations you have with your brothers and your sister and your cousin and, you know what I mean, and your parents. That's real life, Mish Picard. You know what I'm saying? And it's time for us to start getting back to real life, just like it's time for us to start getting back to real food. You see what I'm saying? The fact that we don't have to go out there and grow and hunt our own food, it has weakened us as a society. You see what I'm saying? And we starting to look like every world power towards the end right here in America. We starting to look like Persia. We starting to look like Babylon. We starting to look like Egypt. We starting to look like Assyria. We starting to look like Greece. We starting to look like Rome. You see what I'm saying? America, these so-called divided states of America, is starting to look the same way many of them empires did before they fell. And all I'm telling you, those of you who believe in the God of the Bible and believe in the redemption and the coming of the kingdom, that just because these governments fall don't mean that you gotta fall. Prepare yourself, Mish Picard, mentally, spiritually, and physically to get over the hump. You understand that, Mish Picard? Because these governments were built to control your mind. Govern is control. Mens is minds. Out of the Latin, govern the minds. So these governments are saying that under this sovereignty, we control the minds of the people that live behind these borders. It's really what they're saying. They control your mind. And if you ain't comfortable with that, Mish Picard, it's time for you to start thinking outside of the box and realize that everybody's not going to see what you see. Because the spiritual veil that has been pulled from over your eyes may not have been removed from theirs. So have peace in knowing that just because you show it does not mean that they will see it. And with that, Mr. Picard, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And always remember to keep the fire burning. A little more oil in my lungs. Hallelujah, Mishpachah. Keep your eyes open. Stay prepared so that you don't have to get prepared. And remember that your redemption is near. Until we meet again, Mishpachah, Kuma Yisrael, Karam Yasha'al, Raz Yisrael, Shalom, Shalom, Salam, Mishpachah. Hallelujah.